Today's episode is produced through the program services of Project Media Zone, a community-based 501c3 media organization whose mission is to democratize media production of positive and informative content.
Ville, even the Gun Hill, from Freeman Street to Prospect Avenue, Fordham Road, Cobb City to Elder Avenue, Valley Park, Eaton Wall to Bronx River, Bronx Deal, Soundview, S-Bar, baby. I'm boogie down like this Choke King Mario within the playground. This is how it go down.
Hey, everybody. It's time for the Bronx Music Podcast. And we're thrilled to be starting episode number 25. This is beginning our third year of the Bronx Music Podcast every month. For folks who don't know, it was voted the best podcast in the Bronx. When we started this, I can't believe it, 2 years ago, and now in our third year, the whole notion was to support Bronx music and Bronx culture, because with everything else going on, and I don't have to repeat what we all see on our TVs, the bottom line, the underpinning of this borough is our music and our diversity and our cultures, and that's what the Bronx Music Podcast is all about. And on that note, not to make a pun on a musical note, we have with us today Pablo Mayor, and I'm just going to read, this is the little definition: a contemporary cultural community leader, deeply involved in grassroots initiatives, whose music connects with local neighborhoods and towns and cities, and the Bronx, while impacting audiences globally. And this is, of course, something that Bronxites respond to. Pablo, so great to have you. Thank you for joining us. We really feel, yes, we can applaud. He's been playing piano through years of studying the folkloric rhythms from his native Colombia, and we're going to talk about that a lot today. And along with Pablo, now this is not a coincidence that he has the same last name. It is Nico Mayor. Nice to see you, Nico.
Nice to be here.
Getting right into the microphone.
Happy to be here.
There we go. Nico has a deep voice too. It is Pablo's son, and I'm gonna read these credits. It's crazy, okay? He's only 4 years old. No, I'm just joking. He's 18 years old. Here it is. You ready? Selected for the TV series Pequeños Gigantes. Last year, he was selected for the All-County Jazz Ensemble in Westchester, was New York State Band Directors Association's All-State Drummer, was featured in a tribute to Tito Puentes at Hostos Performing Arts in 2023, won a full tuition scholarship to the Berklee School of Music, and plans to, yes, of course, applaud. Plans to pursue jazz, drums, and music production next year. And I saved the best for last, and it's very current. He is a member of Jazz at Lincoln Center's top combo, the Paul Chambers Ensemble. You played Lincoln Center this morning?
Yes, I did.
Are you crazy? Get into that, Mike. What'd you do this morning at Lincoln Center?
Oh, yeah, we had our mid-year concert. So it was all the combos played a couple.
And Dad, you were there?
Yes.
He was good?
I was there filming, yes.
You were just telling me beforehand that the musicians, the other young people involved, were very impressive.
It's incredible because it's like putting together the best talents, and you see so mature musicians, soloists, and players of all the instruments.
It must be enlightening for you and inspiring for you to see a younger generation doing that. And, you know, when you play little gigs like Lincoln Center, it's really it's really not too bad. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I won't ask when you sleep. Apparently you don't. So let's start here and lay the foundation for this discussion. The hashtag on your website is Global Music to Unify. Why that, and what is in, let's get right to it. What is in your heart about this music, about all music, and why the hashtag is Global Music to Unify?
It's one of those common denominators in humans. The music is a language, is something that allows people to gather. It doesn't matter where you come from. When you bring music, it affects people positively, and that's important to me.
When did you realize that? Did you realize that as a young boy? Did you realize that when you really started playing? When did that occur to you?
Music changed my life. There was a before and after. I came from I grew up having music as a point of escape from maybe problems, from difficult situations in my childhood, and it was through
In Colombia?
Yes, and it was through music that I was able to channel. At the age of 15, 16, I started playing music, and my grades improved. And I, at that time in Colombia, it was very difficult to find, especially in jazz, which I was very attracted to find teachers. And it was through music that I was able to channel and find.
Who introduced you to it, or were you walking down the block and saw something in a music store?
It was the radio.
It was the radio.
I listened to the radio. I slept listening to the radio. So that was the initial part. And then I had a friend who played guitar, and I'm like, oh, maybe I can play guitar. And then I have a friend who played keyboards, and I discovered that I was able to do it. And I talked to my father, and he helped me, and he provided instruments, but I couldn't find teachers to do that. And I was in Bogota, the capital, and then we moved to Cali, and then I just kept playing on my own.
You and I have something in common, even though I grew up in the Bronx, New York, and you were there in Colombia, because music changed my life. And when I look back now at what was it that woke me up, it was when I turned on the radio. And I turned on the radio and I heard music, and it was like, wait a minute, there's something else other than what I see in front of me, right? I mean, we're on the same page?
It was, and then buying records, and then, listening to music from all over.
Of course, the young people, we'll get Nico in here in a minute, but the young people don't even know what records are. But that's another whole story. And what kind of music was it that inspired you?
I always got, been after the music of the people. Dance music, Colombia's tradition is also based on dance music. All the styles in Colombia are danceable. But the music I listened to was salsa music, it was cumbia, it was all the popular music, it was the ballads, the music. In Colombia they say the music for ironing, that's everything.
What does that mean? Wait a minute. I'm not letting you get away with that.
The
music
ballads.
for irony.
Ballads.
For the balance.
They will, maybe people will say, what's the music for the ladies when they're ironing the clothes? They had, a special type of romantic music. So I will be listening to that as well.
You can ask my wife, Suzanne, who's here. I can't put on my socks if I don't have music playing in the house. And I'm assuming you feel that. And I got to tell folks who are watching and listening to this, we walked in. As soon as they walked in the room, he sat down at the keyboards, and Nico sounded the drums. You can't stop.
You have to get familiar with the instrument.
Let's bring in your son into this. Actually, before we do that, you came to America when?
I came to in '87. I came to study music.
To study music.
Yes. So I ended up in Texas, University of North Texas, where I did my bachelor's and my master's.
In music?
In jazz arranging, yes.
Okay, we're going to get back to you and find out when you move that into this whole notion of folklore and all that. But let's bring Nico in. Nico, when did you start playing? I mean, here I've got it saying you started playing jazz in school ensembles in the 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Now, was that here or in Colombia? That was here?
No, that was here, yeah. I was born here.
And what, same kind of question, what turned you on? What made you say this is something I got to do? Or was it him that did it?
Well, it wasn't really like a matter of music changing my life, because like there was no life of mine without music.
Without music, because he was always playing.
Yeah, I was like as soon as I was born, I was listening to music. I was going on tour with them. I was exposed to a lot of it. So a lot of my training was self-taught and just by listening to them.
Because you lived with it. He's very polite. He actually raised his hand because he wanted to add something.
I just think it was before, because the week before, actually no, the week when he was born, we were playing at SOBs. My wife Anna, she's also the flutist in the band. So he's been around. We tour. I will put him next to the piano, and he grew up listening.
And this is really a bad question, and then we'll get back to him. But you did that because you wanted him to learn music, or because you knew this was good for his soul and good for a young person to grow up in? Like, did you expect that he would be sitting here and being a highly respected drummer?
It is remarkable when you start to see him just gravitate to the instruments. And I have a photo of him at one getting up to that drum, and he never stopped. He will take the pans out of the kitchen and he will be drumming.
And so percussion was the thing for you?
Yeah, I well, when I first started, it was the Colombian drums, and that was like the first like introduction to music that I was beginning to play. Yeah.
That these are the cumbia drums.
Well, you can play different styles on them. Cumbia is one of the styles you play.
Let's go. We got him sitting here. Show us the different style. Show us one style.
Well, I'll play cumbia, which is
okay.
LA.
Oh, cumbia is the style.
Yes.
And then
it's one of
the type of drum is called.
This is the alegre.
Alegre.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the education for Gary. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, and what makes that a cumbia style? Like how do you know that from a different style?
It's the pattern of what you play.
And what is the pattern? Hang on, Dad. Just play that pattern. He can't resist. And what would be a different style?
Well, what we're gonna play later, it's called curulao.
Okay.
And that is it's felt differently. So you would hear.
So let's say you studied Latin percussion from the age of 6 at the Harbor Conservatory in Harlem.
Yeah.
With the renowned educator and bongo player for Tito Puente, Luis Basso.
Yes.
Did you learn a lot? Like, when did you really get to the point where you said, "Wow, I can really do this"? Or was it always like that because you had a role model in the house?
It was a process, right? Because what I'm going to study in college and what I play primarily now is not what I was playing at that age. So it was like a whole process, and I'd like to think that like every introduction to the new styles and the new cultures and the new drums kind of cultivated and made my playing now unique, even though it's not specifically that style.
Do you play every day?
Yeah.
Every day. You wake up in the morning and do that before you go out or go to school? You just
too early. But
too early? Well, wait a minute. Too early. You were at Lincoln Center this morning, for goodness sakes, on a Sunday morning of all things.
We have at our school, we have 7 a.m. rehearsals. Sometimes.
7 a.m. rehearsals.
Yeah.
I remember that from when I was in school, too.
Yeah.
And do you play every day?
Well, I write.
You write.
I arrange. When life is about music, you have to do a lot of things, and I happen to do a lot of things. I write music, I arrange, I write music for theater, I write music for my band, I play with Orchestra Broadway, which is charanga music, I play with Pleneros de la 21, which is bomba en plena. So it is always going. Then we have a program called Cumbia for Kids, and we go and talk about Colombia. We have talked to probably thousands of kids about the culture of Colombia. So it's always something.
When you sit down to write, I ask musicians this all the time. When you sit down to write, is it a blank template? Or are you saying, today I'll make this kind of music? Or do you just sit down and say, I don't know where does it come. An artist and a musician's muse is always important to me because I want to know where that germ comes from because we can all learn from that.
If the concept is clear, it comes out easily. Like if I do music for theater, they say, okay, the scene is this. There are, somebody died.
So
or
that gives it
ladies,
context.
And then
Yes.
it comes. I have long conversations with the director, and then I'm able. If it is about my band, I struggle a little bit more because I don't want to offend a culture, and what I have done is study many cultures. So it's always I found a word, iris.
Say that word.
Iris, an air of, so I could say an air of a cumbia, and I feel no guilt, no that I'm not going to offend anybody for playing, a rhythm that maybe I'm not, specifically born to play. That's why I call the band Folklore Urbano, and the company is called Folklore Urbano because it's all about folklore, but it's in the city, and we get exposed in the city to so many different things that is always influence. So I'm calling an air of salsa, air of cumbia, air of curulao, or whatever is better for me, and then I'm able to.
So Folklore Urbano New York NYC is really what you're all about. Folks who are watching and listening, I love when I hear great musicians talk about, I get inspired. Believe me, I'm plenty inspired, but there is no way I could create what he creates or what great musicians create.
You hear things.
You hear it.
You hear.
The great percussionist Bobby Sanabria, who is a friend of ours and has been on the podcast before. I once asked him, I've repeated this a number of times. I once asked him about, do you practice, do you play? He says, everywhere I go, I can hear rhythm. And so we were sitting on, and it was a very formal TV show at the time. And I said, do you hear a rhythm now? And he said, I do. And so, like when you walked in here and you saw the keyboard, you couldn't not play it, right? Right? I don't mean to embarrass you. Do you practice different styles or do the same kind of thing that pop does, or do you like look at a score, or like how do you create and move it to the next level, so to speak?
Well, my dad and I are the styles that we go through on a day-to-day basis are a little different. I'm more like straight ahead jazz and recently like neo jazz, so more modern jazz and mixes of like funk and hip hop. He's more on like the Latin American side of music.
I know what Dad's thinking right now. Kids. That's what. So, but because you hear those rhythms out here, and so that gets incorporated into the Colombian styles that you grew up with.
Oh yeah. It's everything you hear, I think, goes into your playing and what's popular in music too.
Do you create? Do you write music and do that kind of thing, or as a percussionist, you really feel more like you're within the context of a larger band?
Well, I produce music, and that's because I used to take piano lessons, and so he's made sure I learned piano as well.
He plays saxophone as well.
Oh, there you go. Do you when you produce or create, do you play them off of those instruments? I mean, that's how you create it?
Well, I think, I definitely use the keyboard. And now I'm trying to implement more acoustic drums into it. So I'll start recording my own drums for the projects.
Dad, you couldn't be more proud, could you?
No, I remind him that he's not. We're not forcing him. It's something that
he wanted to do.
Natural.
We're going to have you play some stuff, and one of the things that's already come up, and I knew it would because of the versatility of what you folks do. The popular world, the jazz world. You talked about salsa. We talk about cumbia. How do you? It's almost like on one hand, you want to play this piece, you want to play this piece. Do you go from type to type to type, or do you view it almost like he does, that it's all one big universe, so to speak?
It's overwhelming. Because you're
Okay, so that was the stupid question of the day. I accept that. It's overwhelming because there's so much, and it's in your head and it's in your passion.
And now, at this moment in my life, I because I've been exposed to so much, and I have so many projects. I'm trying to start to, what is the word? Just define specifics.
This is, and I kind of knew this coming into this show as I studied what you both do, is that there was going to be very hard to define it. And the information that's on the website is Folklore Urbano NYC. You could check that out. Was so vast. And then they said, well, let's see, it's the popular world, it's the jazz world. And I was going, well, how do we define it? But you just defined it, that you just see it and feel it. The last thing I want to ask before we're going to have you perform is the passion for folklore and your desire to do what we said in the beginning and to reach global, what do you really aim to do?
The dream is always to give something to the people, because I feel that when the people connect with your music, there's no bigger gift than that, to be able to give something and the people accept it and it affects their lives and they feel happiness and they feel...
And in this day and age when we know what's going on with immigrants and whatever, I can't even think about it. I saw a post of a friend of mine who teaches music, and he said, but they can never take our music away. I heard somebody acknowledge that in the audience. It's verdad, right?
Exactly.
All right, so we're going to play something?
Yes, we're going to start with a. There is a rhythm from the Pacific coast of Colombia, which is an area very jungly. A lot of the Africans who were brought moved to this area once to maybe escape, and also it was similar to West Africa. The rhythm is called currulao. This is a piece that is not mine. It's called La Canoa Rancha. It's about a boat. It's a romantic song of the person telling his lover that he's going to take the river against the current in an old canoe, and he doesn't care because he just wants to see her. And we're going to play in a rhythm called currulao. So this is La Canoa Rancha.
I can't wait. We do need to turn the microphone around and make sure we get good volume on the keyboard. And I noticed how Nico was making sure Dad did it right. So that's okay. That's why we brought you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is really a pleasure. And this is, I don't know if you play together, but you play in bands and stuff, but this is really a treat to have you playing together, Pablo and Nico Mayor. It's always a privilege, he said. All right, let's go. Wow, there you go. I really appreciate you. Can pull that closer.
Yeah.
I really appreciated your giving us that imagery of somebody canoeing upstream, because it helped put this in context. Nico, what about young people? We understand what Dad does and what he's passionate about. Do you find that young people are tuned into this sort of thing? Talk to me about being 18 years old and a musician, and does it communicate? Do you have to teach people, the other musicians you performed with at Lincoln Center? Just talk to me about that community a little bit.
Well, I think for most of my life, there's kind of been like a border between like my friends and then the people I play like this music with and jazz music. So it's, you know, my friends at school, most of them aren't exposed to this type of music. So more so this year, I've been trying to educate them more on like jazz music and who's popular in that world, because from them, the music I've gone is like hip hop and popular music.
Yes, popular music. This is what I said, is that the worlds of popular and jazz and salsa and all that, and you know, different South American musics. Go ahead.
Yeah. But I think, I mean, my goal is to try to, I mean, there's people already that are combining jazz and hip hop really well, but it's to be able to reach more people that strictly listen to popular music that don't know about jazz, because it's still like, there's a term like underground, which is like, it's like popular for a certain crowd of people, but it's not like pop music where everyone knows it. So I think the goal should be to connect the two, jazz and that.
You know, this is a Bronx conversation. Hip hop really fueled. I hear even other types of singers who don't sing hip hop, but they're incorporating the lyrics, the rhythm of the lyrics, which of course is all of what hip hop is about. And what you're saying is they have that, and you'd like to, for want of a better term, jazz it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. And the real question is, because, you know, we old folks don't quite know, are they open-minded to it, or is like, oh man, that's not my thing, man, you know, that kind of thing.
Depends the person.
Depends on who it is.
And how educated they are on like,
Right.
just because a lot of people are very like, I'm only going to listen to rap or something, and everything else is just not cool.
Yeah, let's be honest, I have friends my age who say, oh, you know, I don't like rap or I don't like hip hop. Well, then you never listen to it, you know. And then I mean, listen, we don't want to get into prejudice or whatever else, but they never really listened if they don't fully understand the grassroots nature, the expression nature of it. To me, it's like, oh, you now have just defined a whole new way of looking at the Bronx. I mean, that's where it's from. Go ahead, Pablo. You wanted to say something.
I just wanted to say that, because I mean, I just heard that there is a first Grammy winner, which is AI.
Oh,
you know, so to me, seeing a young person playing an instrument is the way to go. And I feel that we have to go back to playing music and performing live, so people can see a human creating and maybe playing differently every time the same piece. It is important to expose the kids that, because people don't know where the music comes from.
Nico, you were talking about producing music in different styles, whereas Pablo kind of creates throughout this whole universe that he has. Do you have an agenda when you create music? In other words, you say, because now this dialogue that we've had, you've talked about the desire to combine worlds. So do you say, okay, now I'm going to combine this rhythm with that rhythm, or do you just let it organically come out of you? I mean, I don't know how to define it.
I mean, I'd like to say it just flows and it's all organic. But a lot of the inspiration, like, I think, it's a habit that I need to get out of. But a lot of the times, my inspiration to just get into like the production setup and start creating things is fueled by what I'm listening to on a day-to-day basis, and it's like, yeah.
As soon as I asked the question, I knew, in essence, what the answer would be. Those of us like me who are not quite as talented, obviously, as you guys, so I could play a song and I could read the chords and all that and play it out. I am not capable of now saying, oh, I'm doing this, let me move it to the next thing. And for you, because you've been so well schooled, there's always that conflict between the educational stuff that you've been taught and your desire to say, well, wait a minute, I want to move it to the next level, right? You wrestle with that.
Yeah,
I knew it. I knew it because I know exactly, you know, and really all artists do that, is that they are taught certain things, but then if you want to create, you got to break the rules. There you go. Here he is, our rule breaker of the month is Pablo Mayor. All right, so we got something else you want to play? Something different?
Yeah, something different. One of the goals with me working with Colombian music was kind of being able. I feel that jazz for a moment has forgotten the audience, and jazz was music that was danceable, and I get to see a lot of musicians who were, because it's part of the process. You're immersing yourself. Am I able? It's difficult music. Am I able to play fast? Am I able to play these changes? Am I able to really do things? When sometimes we forget about the audience. So I want to present a piece that is in the rhythm of a Colombian rhythm called chandé. But it is in an odd meter. Instead of 4/4, it is in 5/4.
Oh, we know that. That's tough.
So the goal is for people to enjoy it. So here it's called Chandies.
Well, you know, I have to say that you added now a third element. We're talking about music that you've been taught and then your creativity. And now you're saying, well, wait a minute, there's what you taught, the creativity, and now you want to deal with the people who are listening to it and address that. All right, here we go.
There is also, when we talk about Colombian music, we always talk about that mix of the native, the European, and the African. So the piece kind of also tells a story.
You have educated us. Maybe I'll wait for the end of the song, the piece, to talk about this. But really, Colombian people and their music is a lot broader than I think a lot of people we're aware of. I do know, I'm going to tell you after the show, there's one rock and roll song that is 5/4 time, and I know what it is. Maybe I'll tell you afterwards. It has nothing to do with this kind of music, but it is in 5/4 time. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Pablo and Nico Mayor.
So it's 1, 2, 3,
5. They have the... Wow. You know what pull that microphone towards you if you would. What I especially liked was watching Nico reading the piano, and you were intent on knowing where to go from watching him play. Really, that was just incredible. So I do got to tell you, the one rock and roll 5/4 song is Good Morning by the Beatles on Sgt. Pepper's. Nothing to do to save his life but call his wife in, boosh. And that is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that. So that's the only rock song I know that's 5/4. But so how was the gig the other night? They played the Bronx Music Hall. How was it? I saw a couple of clips. It was great, right?
Oh, no, we take the 10-piece band, and it was wonderful. It's a great space. I wish the best. The people just need to know about it. And
the Bronx Music Hall is a beautiful, wonderful place, and it was well attended. And you had a 10-piece band.
Yes.
Now there is a piece that's on your website. I pronounced it wrong. Agosar, which is to have fun.
That piece was written with Cruz de Jesus Bonilla, Chino Melao, who was he used to have a band in the 70s. He's somebody I write music with. We actually just released another song dedicated to Bad Bunny. With arrangements. The first arrangement, one part of it is Jose Madera, who is a great writer. And I asked Nico for his opinion, because he wrote it in a major key, and it sounded like a Pacheco piece. And he said, it's Bad Bunny, it has to go in a minor. So I put reggaeton to it. I have best Puerto Rican musicians. We just released this week. It's called El Conejito Malo. So I just wanted to mention that. And he also wrote Agosar with him.
I have a note here that you have a new album that you will record soon that is called Reencuentro.
Yes.
And is this going to be on that album?
No.
Oh.
It's Reencuentro is more going back to playing Colombian music. Going back, with Ana, my wife, we did a festival for 17 years on Colombian music, and it's going back to that. And so that's.
Let's play this Gozar. We'll play that first.
Hay que moverse, hay que gozar. Mira que la vida es corta y vuelve y dice. Vamos a gozar el ritmo, a bailar. Vamos a bailar el ritmo, a cantar. Vamos a cantar a grito. A gozar. Vamos a gozar el ritmo, a bailar. Vamos a bailar el ritmo, a cantar. Vamos a cantar a grito. Ah, la 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 la. Qué felicidad me da. Vamos todo a recordar, ya la cosa no es igual. Qué bueno es tener mujer y bailar con ella aquí en el hogar. Vamos a gozar el ritmo, a bailar. Vamos a bailar el ritmo, a cantar. Vamos a cantar al grito. A gozar el ritmo, a bailar. Vamos a bailar el ritmo, a cantar.
Pablo is an educator, right? You work with young musicians in Bogota. A dance collaboration with Colombian Daniel
Daniel Fetequa.
Fetequa, okay. And then just one final word then about Folklore Urbano NYC. Just talk about it and what it means and what it's about, and why everybody should check out the website and get involved, because this is who we are in the Bronx. It's all the diversity from all over the world.
What I wanted to add is that one part of that desire to stay in music was my desire to educate, and I've been I taught for 16 years at Boys Harbor. I had many pianists who are now, professionals of people.
Wow.
I taught for many years. The Folklore Urbano has always focused on not only on showing. We started first among musicians playing Colombian music because Colombians kind of don't pay attention to their own music. They're always producing music from other cultures. And then
boy, are you an example of that? But go ahead.
And then we did the festival, and then other musicians from other cultures wanted to learn about Colombian music, and then people from all over the world wanted to listen to these bands playing. We did it for many years, and that is part of what I do. That is part of that legacy that I would like to show, that I try to push on Colombian music. And now I've been exposed. I have learned why keyboard music is so successful, why Los Pleneros de la 21 are so successful. I wanted to see their relationship with their communities and how we can all, inject people the pride that Latin American music has and how it affects the world.
Well, I'm going to applaud for that to begin with, but what you have just done is, in my mind, the clear opposition to all the politics and all the other stuff that people are talking about Colombia like it's like some kind of wacky place. But here we are, and now we're seeing examples of how great and wonderful the people and it's always about the music. Nico, anything that I didn't ask you about that you want to mention? You're getting ready for the Berklee School of Music. That's what's next.
Yeah. No, I mean it's great to be able to talk about like how much music there is, because he said it's overwhelming, but I think that's like the most incredible thing. It's like you can't ever run out of music, so it's like it should be like it should be taught in school to like go explore all these different styles.
That's for sure. And of course, doing it in the Bronx, New York, I mean, all the cultures are here, all the different music is here, and that's why we're so comfortable having you with us on the Bronx Music Podcast. A round of applause for Pablo Mayor and Nico Mayor.
And thank you for what you do, Gary.
Listen, we got to do it. We got to, because there's a lot of stuff out there. We all know what goes on outside these doors, but this is, this is what will be consistent through eternity. Thank you. The greatest people in the world, right? The greatest musicians in the world. Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you.
We want to mention the Bronx Music Podcast made possible through the services of Project Media Zone. We thank everybody, Elliot Glick, who's here with us, Monica Glick, who does some of the promotion and some of our outreach. This is their house. We've been able to do 25 episodes. My buddy George Williams Jr. is a technical director and the brains behind Project Media Zone, which is such an important concept to the Bronx, providing media support for just things like this. That's what George does. Our production assistant is Joshua Cruz. Next show, we're going to be here March 1st, 1 p.m. I have an idea who's coming on, but they didn't confirm yet. But we'll find out. And so we'll see you then. Thank you all for joining us. And thank you, folks. And thank you, Anna, for bringing them in. And we'll see you around.
You won Best Podcast.
And yes, this is the best podcast in the Bronx.
Even the Gun
Peace
Hill,
and
from Freeman Street to Prospect Avenue, Fordham Road, Cross City to Elder Avenue, Valley Park, Eaton Wall to Bronx River, Bronx Deal, Sound View, S-Bar, baby, I'm boogie down like